Hello, cosmic beings. Welcome to Being Cosmic. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I am so glad that each and every one of you are here. My voice just like didn't work for a minute. It's always fun. Anyways, okay, so I actually got the insight to do a more specific type of reading. So basically, what I've been picking up from this collective for a while is you're at this point in life where you have two pathways available to you. So it's I've called it like at a crossroads before, but it's more of just like these two different paths that are kind of coexisting. And you have this opportunity to lock into this other pathway. I might call it a timeline or a reality, just kind of interchangeably. It's more of just this option of like you can do it's kind of like the head led path versus the heart led path. So it's like the logical path, the one that makes sense, the path that you've been walking for a while, the one that society tells you to walk. And then there's this other path that is different. It's more of, a higher vibrational timeline or path or reality, whatever you want to term it, but it's that heart-led path. It's the scarier path. It takes surrender and trust in something way greater than your human self. And it twists and turns. It's not this, it's kind of the analogy of like you can go the highway and go straight through and do that, or you can take this incredible scenic route and see beautiful different things, small towns, forests, beaches, mountains, um, that kind of thing. It's kind of like that, where neither is wrong. It's just different people enjoy different paths, and you have been made aware of this other path because you're at the point now where you can lock into that path and you can take the path less traveled, and that's what you're getting called to it because that's what your soul is trying to call you to. That's the heart-led path. But we're humans and we have free will, and so there is the choice. You can go this one. You can go the path that's been driven 1,000 times. It's paved. You get here to here and you have certain exits and you can pre-plan your trip, and you know that there's going to be gas wherever you need it and food wherever you need it along the way and hotels and so on and so forth. Or you can take the unknown path that's going to take you into this small town, and it's a small bed and breakfast where the owner lives there. And then, you meet locals and you have, dining experiences at little local spots. And then somebody tells you to go over here and it's like a wonder of nature, or, some amazing artifact from 500 years ago, or, whatever. But it's unknown. It's yeah, you're following, it's like you're following the GPS as it goes and just kind of going with it. That's more of like the intuitive led path, the heart led path. And that's the one your soul is calling you to, but you don't have to take that path. Just know that you just know that you're going to continue to get the call to lock into that timeline or onto that path because that's what your soul wants. That's what your higher self wants. That's what's truly in alignment for you, and that's where your heart is calling you. And so what I want to do is I want to kind of get some insight in what you can expect from whichever path. And then so you kind of know a little more of like, okay, if I take this path, this is more than likely what I'm going to be looking at. And then if I take this path, this is more than likely what I'm looking at. So again, we're doing future projections. The future is not fixed. We have infinite possibilities available to us at all times. So just know that. This isn't a guarantee. It's more of just energetically, we're going to tap into what you're most likely to experience on each of these paths. Okay, so let's go the mind-led path. Kind of a weird way to say it, but let's see what happens if you follow the path that makes sense logically. Like we're going the logical. way. The path we're going highway. What happens if you go on the highway? How is that experience? It's funny because I can feel it, and I'm a little biased because I chose the other path, but it took some time to get there. I was pretty locked in on the highway for a while, even though my soul was calling me to this other path. And then I would find myself, getting lost off the highway and then be like, oh, oh, let's get back on the highway. Let's do what, society's saying to do. And then I would wander off. um, so I'm a little biased. So I'm going to do my best to present this to you in a way that is unbiased, but know that I do have a bias. So just keep that in mind. I'm biased and would recommend to do the soul led path, but I'm going to do my best to bring it through in more of a matter of fact way, um, just to kind of give you some insight. So interesting. Okay, okay. So if we take the mind led path, there is storm warning, appreciation, and strategy. So I am picking up you will experience more lessons. Not saying that you won't on the other path, to be clear. But it's more of just the energy of like there's going to be, and I mean it makes sense because you're at the point now to where you're being called to the soul-led path or the heart-led path for a reason. So following the head-led path sounds really weird. Following the logical path, it's going to create a dissonance in your field. It's going to create a low key level of dissatisfaction because your heart is calling you in a different direction. But with that, what I'm getting is you are still going to experience things on this path. If you follow the logical path, you are going to experience things that you can appreciate. You are going to experience things that you do enjoy, that do bring you a level of happiness and appreciation and joy. It's going to be riddled with a lot of drama, dissatisfaction. Probably a lot of karmic lessons. But you're at the point now to where you're going to learn. I don't feel like you're going to continuously repeat a lot of cycles that you've been repeating, but it's almost like more and more stuff is going to pop up on this path for you because you're being called to the other path. So just know that if you pick the logical path and you continue to walk the path that you've been walking, there's going to be an internal dissonance. There's going to be discomfort. Because it's not really lighting you up from the soul level. But you can find, more superficial levels of joy and satisfaction and, vacations and find the good in life and everything else. So it's not like doom and gloom. It's just, it's not going to feel as fulfilling as the heart led path. But it's not bad. And so I just want to say that too. It's not going to be bad if you follow the logical path. If you go on the highway, it's not bad. It's just, you know what you're getting. And there is going to be, kind of a low key level of just blah. And then the strategy card came up. Maybe what this is talking about is the fact that this is a strategic path. This is one that you can plan. This is one that you can be like, okay, I'm going to, just like that analogy, I'm going to drive to this exit and I'm going to refill my fuel there and I'm going to eat here and then I'm going to stop here and get a hotel. And it's more of that pre-planned, and so like in life, it's that energy of like, okay, I'm going to, work here and have my vacations and make the best of it. And then at this time, I'll hit retirement age and then I'll do this. And it's more of like strategically planning things like that. It's going to be for all areas of life. Um, okay, so now we're going to switch into what the heart-led path will bring. And then I'm gonna get into interesting. I'm gonna get into the tarot. Um, and get a little more insight for you. Okay, we've got the angel of balance. Oh, wow. Oh, interesting. Okay, so the financial constraints card fell out and it started to slide over here, and then I put it over here, and then I heard this is actually for the other path. So the other thing, it's the other thing with the logical path is it's going to require more strategy when it comes to your finances. And that makes sense because if you're manifesting from the mind, it's just more limited. When you're manifesting from an open heart space and following the divine guidance, there's no limits. If you're manifesting from the mind, there's limitations on it. It just is what it is. And it's going to vary depending on, your career and this and that and the other, but it's not going to be as open and free flowing and as abundant as the heart led path. It's kind of intertwined. So that's another thing for there. But that is for over here. Okay. 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 All right. On the heart led path, not surprising, we have two cards with hearts on them. Um, there's Angel of Balance. And so there you're gonna find a sense of balance in your life that is different than what you would experience just following the logical path. Um, yeah, it's more harmonious. It's a more harmonious experience. Something that's interesting about it, when you follow the more heart-led path, everything's intertwined. And so it's interesting because a lot of the times we compartmentalize different things. So it's like work is this thing, family is this thing, friends are this thing, hobbies are this thing. It's like all compartmentalized. Then when you shift over here into more of this soul-led path, everything is intertwined. Work is intertwined with soul purpose, which is intertwined with friends, which is intertwined with significant other, which is intertwined with family, which is intertwined with passions and hobbies and all, like it's like all intertwined in a way. It's kind of weird to explain, but um it's a balance in a very interconnected kind of way. Instead of like this compartmentalized way of experiencing things. And okay, so that makes sense. So, okay, what's coming through is basically it's like when you're on this more logical path, on this more path that like society tells you to go on, you wear these different masks and you go into these different roles. So I go to work and this is what I do at work and that's part of my identity. And then I'm a parent and this is what I do here and that's part of my identity. And I have these friends and this is what we do and that's part of my identity. And then we've got what was my, oh, hobbies. I do this stuff for fun. That's part of who I am. And it's attaching to all these different identities, but then putting on these different masks to fit into these different roles. And they're all kind of compartmentalized to where the heart led path, the soul led path is more of this is who I am and this is how I show up in all areas of my life. And all areas of my life will rearrange to allow that to be seamless. And at first it's hard. It really is. It takes time and practice and commitment and you know all of those things to really lock into it. But it's just different because now you're not playing all these roles. Now you are aligning with things that fulfill you at a soul level. And so it's this is me This is what I'm being called to do, so this is what I'm going to do. But it's not needing to put on a mask all the time. Like you're still fulfilling roles, right? It's not saying that you're not going to be a parent anymore. It's just that you show up differently. You're not like, okay, now I need to parent. Okay, now I need to do this. Okay, now I need to do that. Putting on all these different masks and showing up in a certain way that fits that environment. This is a way of going about life where you are showing up authentically in your, most authentic version that's possible for you on that day, because that varies. Um, and then reality rearranges itself around you to align with that so that when you're at work, and of course, like it's going to vary. So, who you are at work is going to be a little bit different than who you are with your significant other versus with your child versus with a friend. I mean, it's still going to change a little bit, but it's not drastic, if that makes sense. There's still that core part of you that is there, that's authentic, that, this is me, man. And so yeah, it's interesting. I've never thought about it like that before, but it's very accurate. Okay. Something that I'm getting is by you following your heart-led path, there is something that you are going to be called to do intellectually. I'm picking up soul mission. You're going to be called to do something where you're using your intellectual abilities, so that mind energy, and you are sharing it with the world in some way. Yeah, I'm picking up a creative expression, but I'm picking up a creative expression in the realm of logic in some way. For some of you, this could be music, because there is that logical aspect of like coming up with lyrics or, so on and so forth, making beats, so on and so forth. Um, but yeah, I'm not really getting like painting or anything like that. Maybe so. Maybe so. But really for a lot of you, what I'm picking up is this is going to be something more where you're writing a book, where you're doing a podcast, where you're motivational speaking, where you're, something like that. More just using your throat chakra energy to help the masses. So, had a quick interruption. My daughter's talking about her braided hair. Anyways, okay. So, where were we? Yes. Yeah, so this is and that makes sense. Following the heart-led path and the soul-led path is going to align you with your soul mission. In most people at this point on the awakening journey, if you're being called to your soul-led path, it's probably because you have a key role to play in the awakening. So again, you're going to be called to this path from this point forward. So just know that you can consciously with your free will choose the logical path, but you are still going to constantly be pulled to this other path because your soul and your higher self, the divine, whatever you work with, is like, hey, you came here to do more. You came here to share your gifts with the world in whatever way that is for you. So just know that you're going to be continually pulled in this direction. Okay. Then we've got the crown chakra. So this is definitely, and that makes sense too. So this is where you're accessing more divine information. And then I'm also hearing divine feminine energy, and then so it's that balancing of the feminine and the masculine energies within the self that is really going to appear for you on this heart-led path. We also have Man Holding a Heart and Door to Romance. So there is a high level soulmate connection that's available for you when you fully choose the heart led path. This is very much, yeah, this is high level love and romance that's available. Which makes sense because again, you can only connect with somebody so much from a wounded heart space. So if you're, operating your life from an open heart space, you're opening yourself up to high level love. And then we've got the angel of strength. And this is what I feel like this is talking about is it takes a different type of strength to follow the heart-led path. because it is going against the grain. And so this is coming through to let you know that you will be given extra support in the spirit realm when it comes to having the strength to endure going against the grain. So it's kind of funny because you're going to be more in flow with yourself and with the universe, but it goes against what society is saying to do. So it's this weird, like, the resistance that you experience is different. So the resistance that you experience on the logic path is the resistance internally with your soul. The resistance you experience on the heart led path or the soul led path is resistance from external forces. And that lessens over time. The more you lock into it, the more you do it, the more you follow your own guidance in your soul and your heart, the less external resistance you'll experience over time. But you're still going to experience resistance. It's just different because you're not dealing with internal resistance. You're just dealing with other people or systems that you're butting up against. And so you'll meet resistance there, but you're not dealing with the internal resistance. So it feels very different. I'll just put it that way. Okay, we're gonna do the tarot now. All right, I gotta pull in the rambles. I've been rambling a lot in these readings lately. So there could be something there with that. You could be fully unblocking your throat chakra at this time. And so that could be part of what's going on. Okay. I didn't hold on. Are we doing the logic path first? That's part of the logic path. Interesting. We've got death. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Just kidding. It's not. That's not the message. What this is talking about is endings to cycles. Um okay, let me see here. So this is all for that. Yes, it's okay. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know what that has to do with this, but we'll get into it. Okay. So you've got death. That's ending of a cycle. And I feel like what this is actually coming through to let you know is that even if you pick the logic-led path right now, at some point it is going to get so uncomfortable internally that you will eventually pick the heart-led path because your soul is pulling you in that direction so heavily. And so at some point you are going to put an end to this cycle where you're following the logic and the mind and the societal rules. Um or like the societal, you know, way to do certain things, you're going to put an end to those ways at some point because it's going to just continue to get more and more uncomfortable to follow that path because it is out of alignment and you've come far enough at this point where you're really craving alignment. And then we've got judgment. Mm, they're gonna face a lot of judgment on this path. I just heard internal judgment. So yeah, this is that internal dissonance. Um, okay. Eight of honey. This is the eight of pentacles. So this is decently stable. It's stable enough. Um, financially, it's secure enough. It's not five of pentacles where it's, super financial hardships, but it's not the 10 of pentacles. It's not generational wealth either. So this is the energy of like kind of like what I was talking earlier. You've got a 9 to 5 type of situation. You have your couple weeks of vacation every year. Maybe you've got a little extra. You can fly somewhere, have a vacation, enjoy, and then get back to work and do some things on the weekends or, your days off, whatever. Um comfortable enough, but it's going to take more strategy, more planning, more, keeping all your ducks in a row and, 401k or Roth IRA or whatever, those kinds of retirement things and stuff like that. Um, it's just going to require more strategy and planning when it comes to your finances. But it's not like super financial hardship. Okay. And then we've got 10 of Dreams and the Knight of Songs. Okay. The 10 of Dreams is the 10 of Swords. This is a very it's the feeling of being betrayed or, being backstabbed, so to speak. So I feel like what this is saying is that you're going to continue to experience that type of an energy with other people if you follow the more logic-minded path. Um, and I mean, it just, it kind of makes sense because you're going to be connecting more from that space versus an open heart space. And that just leads to different connections. That leads to different dynamics. And so I feel like what this is really talking about is letting you know that you're going to experience more and more of that, and at the same time, simultaneously, your heart is going to be pulling you in the other direction. So you're going to feel that dissonance, that discord within you, that, I'm doing this because this is what, society says I should do, or my family said I should do, or whatever. It needs to look this way. This needs to look that way. And you're going to feel that head versus heart battle to where your heart's going to be calling to you saying, you know, do this thing, do this thing, do this thing, and then the 10 of swords is over here in a that betrayal energy where you feel very alone. You feel like you can't really trust anybody. You've got to keep your guard up to max. It's operating from that place. It's not a bad place to operate from. It's not bad to have boundaries and things like that. It's just you're not going to be able to open yourself up to that true connected energy, if that makes sense. Okay. So I had to pause it again. And I was getting ready to switch gears to get into the tarot with the heart led path just to see, kind of the contrast here. And my daughter yelled down to me and was like, "I'm gonna go play." And I was like, "Okay." And like I paused it to, let her know that that was okay and make sure where she's going. She's going to the neighbors, but well, they play outside. But anyways, then when I went to hit record again, it clicked in part of what is going to be lacking on the logic led pathway is your inner child being able to come out and truly play. This isn't as safe of a pathway for your inner child. And it's not saying that, your inner child's unsafe. It's just, it's not the environment or the energy where your inner child feels safe enough to truly come out and play and enjoy life fully and completely. And part of that is because of the different types of connections that are available on these pathways. On this pathway with the 10 of swords with a lot of, challenging connections, that's not, if you're in a connection where there's, low key animosity or hostility, your inner child registers that as dangerous and won't come out fully. And when your inner child does come out, they end up getting triggered or wounded or something like that because it's not truly a fully safe environment energetically for your inner child to come out and play. And I'm seeing somebody being really alone. And so it's one of those, like, your inner child might be able to come out and play, but it's going to be like when you're alone, more or less. Oh, interesting. All right, so Bizam. We've got the Empress. So the Empress is this is divine feminine energy. We all have masculine and feminine energies within us, regardless of gender. Divine feminine energy is when you're tapping into source, when you're receiving downloads and guidance and things like that. You're also receiving creative inspiration. Um, and then it's making things grow. It's grow yeah, like everything the Empress touches grows. Um, and then for some of you, this is divine counterpart energy coming through. So for some of you, by following your heart led path, you're going to come into alignment with your divine counterpart. And that's going to be that high level romantic connection that you will have available to you on this timeline. Okay. And I'm being told to read that in a minute. Okay. And then we've got the Ace of Honey and the King of Honey. And then what I heard was by following the heart led path, you are going to get a blessing from the divine that is going to help you to lock in this King of Honey energy. This is the King of Pentacles. This is a very stable, grounded, secure energy. This is financially very much secure, very abundant. You're not tripping over, a car that's a couple $1,000s more than the other one, or whatever. That's just an example. It's this is the energy of like, oh, I like this car. I'm gonna go buy it in cash. I like this house. I'm gonna buy that in cash. Like this is big bala energy. Um, in contrast with the Eight of Honey over here. And so just to let you know, like again, it's not bad if you follow this logic path. It's not going to be terrible and miserable. It's just going to be low key dissonant. You're going to have your heart pulling you in this other direction from this point forward. And, if you choose to follow your heart, then you will be given a blessing in some way in the physical realm. This is finances, stability. This is our physical world. I just heard gifted a house. It's something like that. Like maybe all of a sudden you find out that you got a house from an inheritance that you had no clue about, and then that kicks you off in this direction where now you can lock into this King of Pentacles energy. Oh yeah, I'm gonna read the Empress in it. What else is going on the Heartland path? All the things. It's all the rest of the cards. Just kidding. um, that's a lot. Okay. I was like, dude, that's like 10 cards in a row, man. All right. Oh, snap. All right. We've got the Magician. This is really talking about master manifesting in this context. This is really talking about aligning with that part of yourself that can go, okay, I'm being called to do this thing. I'm going to do this thing. And then the universe helps clear the path and get you there in half the time. It can be instant manifestation. It's very much creating your reality consciously. So that yeah, this is really talking about tapping into master manifester energy. Which is yeah, big energy. Okay. Knight of Dreams. This is the Knight of Swords. So there is going to be a need to communicate something uncomfortable. And I feel like it's going to be for you to fully lock into this path. So yeah, that's all I'm really being shown. So there's going to be a need to communicate something that is going to push you out of your comfort zone in some way. So this could be, maybe opening up and being very vulnerable, and that's something that you're not used to doing. This can be y- going online and speaking your truth on a platform, which is uncomfortable at first. Something like that. But I'm definitely picking up a level of discomfort, but it's required to fully lock in on this path. And then I heard for some of you, that's the only thing that's stopping you from doing so right now. And so that's probably part of this perspective is like, if all it's going to take is to put yourself into a slightly uncomfortable position, be a little more open, be a little more vulnerable. Speak your truth, but this is all you've got available to you. Like, yeah, perspective, is it really that big of a deal long term? Like, is it worth it? Is it worth being vulnerable in order to fully lock in on this higher timeline? Is it worth coming out and speaking your truth and potentially being judged or whatever to fully lock this in? And that's something only you can answer. For me sitting here with my experience, I would say it's absolutely worth it and do it. It's 100% going to be worth it. It's going to pay off. But again, this is your free will choice. But this is what you're going to be required to do in order to fully lock this in. The other thing that is available to you on this timeline is a harmonious romantic connection. This is, two of songs. This is reciprocity. This is mutual love, mutual connection, mutual feelings, unevenly yoked dynamic and situation. This is a soulmate connection. High level soulmate connection. Um, very, very fulfilling. A very fulfilling romantic union. Yep. Okay. Being told to read these. Let's see here. Abundance, beauty, and sensuality. Okay, so it's really talking about your ability to pull in massive abundance in multiple areas of life. Um, Enjoying the pleasures of life and having a really high relationship, a really good relationship with sensuality, beauty, and pleasure. Hey. Um, okay. All right, so for this next part, where it lands is where I'm taking it, and then we'll see. I'm going to move this over here a little bit because what lands in the middle is the bridge to get here. So it's going to be more like recommended guidance or what you are going to be called to do in order to fully lock this in. Is that in the middle? The Knight of Pentacles. That would make sense. So this is getting your ducks in a row, coming up with a plan. But it's not as much coming up with a plan when you're talking about this. It's more opening yourself up and allowing yourself to follow the guidance of the divine plan. And it's not, I don't want to say it like that, but kinda. It's more following the guidance that's coming through that is guiding you from a higher perspective. So, because being like follow the divine plan, it kind of sounds like it's predestined, pre-written, and that's not really how it works. There's things that as a soul we want to experience in this lifetime, but it's not mandatory because we're in a free will, universe, galaxy, whatever. Um, so it's not mandatory to do these things, but you're just going to be called to do certain things, and certain things are going to keep circling back because your soul wants to do them in this lifetime. But it's not saying like you have to do things a certain way. It's just you're getting guidance on how to get here quicker, faster, with the least amount of resistance. And it's going to be the experience where your soul is singing, where you're just life is magical and it's wonderful and beautiful miracles happen on a regular basis and yeah, it's a different way of operating in life. And so it's about really opening up and allowing that guidance. So really what it is it's like, okay, this is what I did. I said to the universe a couple years ago, I said, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to do whatever it takes, what my soul's calling me to do. I'm ready to do it. show me the way that is the easiest. And then I set up some things that I wanted, it's like, I want this and I want that and I want this and I want that. Some of them a little more modest than others. But, I was like, this is what I want. And, or a version of this that's close enough. But generally, this is what I want. And this is the type of experience I want to have on a regular basis. And then it was like, okay, follow the guidance. And then it was, another dark night of the soul. It was, it was some things. But, I was like, okay, heal this. Okay, look at this wound. Okay, here's this trauma coming back up to the surface to deal with, to heal, to integrate. Here's this shadow element coming up for one last hurrah. It's shit like that that will come up, but it's coming up to you. It's coming up for you because that's what needs to be healed for you to fully lock this in. So there's like this dancing back and forth that happens, and you can kind of think of it if like this is the 3D path and this is the 5D path. We jump back and forth all the time. And then it's just about being in the 5D more than, it's like operating from the 5D. It's operating with different cheat codes, but you're still part of the 3D. So it's not about like leaving the 3D and entering the 5D and it's a totally different earth that you go to. It's a frequency thing. So they're both existing simultaneously all the time, and then you can shift into it and then you can shift back down, and it's this process. And the more you get used to operating from more of a 5D standpoint, the easier it is. And then the more you just kind of get used to it, like, okay, I'm being called to do this 3D stuff, and now I'm popping back into the 5D, I'm getting my guidance, and now I'm gonna pop back into the 3D and do this thing. um Anyways, okay, so again with the tangents, insane. Okay, the Ace of Wands or Ace of Skins on this deck. This is I just heard the Passion Stick. So some readers look at this as literally like on the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck, it's a phallic looking. So that's where it comes from. But it is wands have to do with passion and creativity. So this can be an inspiration, like a divine download of creative inspiration. This can also be an old like childhood dream coming back online. And this can also be, in that passionate sensual way where you rediscover passion again. You are operating from that different place where you're, I am seeing it in a romantic sense. So if you are wanting a different type of romantic experience, then that's what's available to you on this heart-led timeline. It's this energy of like, I want to be with this person. I want to spend time with this person. I want to have certain experiences, but it's not ego based. It's a heart desire. Like I want to be with this person because I love them. Not because it's, you know, society saying that I should have a significant other and it needs to look like this and do this and blah 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 and fulfill these check these boxes. It's I want to be with this person because I'm in love with this person and this is my person and they're in love with me too, and it's reciprocal, and we have passion for each other. We have passion for life. We have passion for our soul mission and our gifts and our this and our that. It's a different way of operating. Yeah. Okay. Then we've got, so this is what it takes to get there. What is that one talking about? So the Nine of Pentacles this is really talking about slow and steady movement. This is really about allowing that divine plan to kind of start sprinkling through, following the guidance, not fully knowing where it's going to lead. It's kind of that energy of plugging it into your GPS and listening to the directions as you go and not really knowing how you're going to get there. You're just listening to the GPS versus this one is like, okay, I'm going to get here and I'm going to map it out and I'm going to follow this path and do it this way. It's more of trusting in your divine guidance to be your GPS, which is your, your intuition. So it's allowing the intuition to be the GPS of your life. Which at first is very stressful. But it requires trust in yourself and in the divine. And by doing that, it will guide you into locking into this heart-led path, which is what your soul's calling you to do anyways. But again, it's your free will human choice on if you follow the guidance. The Hanged Man. This is about really going in. This is deep in introspective energy. So this is the energy of continuing to go within, continuing to remember. I just heard remember who you are. Um yeah, it's that level of remembrance and understanding, finding those universal truths within, um seeing things from different perspectives, expansion, like consciousness expansion. And all of these, this is part of this shift that you're being invited to take. And then the Page of Skins. Interesting. I'm being told to read that one. Page of Wands. Oh, curiosity. Okay. The Page of Skins finds inspiration and movement everywhere. They feel the dance of life within themselves and intuitively join in. Fiery, fearless, and always ready to embrace change or try something new, the page knows how to experience life to its fullest. How can you embody these ideas? How will they transform you? And what paths will they lead you down? So yeah, this is really tapping into that curiosity, playful energy, that trusting and okay, let's see where this goes and I'm going to follow this insight, but I'm not really sure where it's leading, but it's my higher self telling me to go this way, so I'm going to go this way and we'll see what happens. And then, the windy road opens up to a beautiful lake and you can spend a weekend there hanging out at the lake and camping and fishing and hanging out on a boat or whatever. Um, if that's your sort of thing. If not, it's something different that lights your soul up. Anyways, but that was a visual that just came to me. So it's that energy of really getting curious and excited and playful and life is fun and life has, it's miraculous and I'm here to experience that. And so let's experience it. Let's live and experience life. Okay. So I paused it to get a drink of water. I don't have my water next to me like I normally do. So I paused it and then I was actually reminded of something that it was a dark time, but I'm being called to talk about it. So here we go. Um Basically I feel like why this is coming up right now is because I'm speaking to a soul who is being called to align with their higher timeline. People who are fully locked into this logic-led pathway aren't called in this way. Um, and this pathway works for a lot of people, and a lot of people find joy and pleasure from it. There are those of us who came here not to follow that path and to do something different, and it's a soul calling. And what happens at some point on the journey is this path of following the logical pathway feels dark. And it's interesting. So what I'm being reminded of is when I had my daughter, she was a couple months old, 4 or 5 months old maybe. And I was told a lot by some family members that like your life is over. Now you have to live for your kid and they come first and so on and so forth. And yes, there's truth to that. But I really processed it differently. And was like I saw down that line of okay, so I've got to do this and I've got to do that and I've got to do this and I've get a few weeks of vacation and budget for this and budget for that and plan for this and plan for that and do things this certain way. And it was it was dark. It put me into a very dark space. And there's nothing wrong with that path. There's again, a lot of people, and I used to think that for a long time. I'm like, why can't I just be happy doing this, living this life, and doing the things the way that, I'm being told I should do them? Why can't I just be happy with that? Why can't I just be okay with that? And I would look at other people who were just, happily living their life, just, plugged in basically. And I would be so envious. I'm like, why can't I just be happy with that? And I tried. Holy shit, I tried. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do this. And then I would do my best to be happy in it, do my best to be happy in it, find the silver lining and do all of this. But it was just this deep, unsettled energy. And then I went through my awakening and it became clear because if you're here now watching this at this point, you're one of the souls that came here to follow this other path. And if you are hitting the point where you can see generally down this pathway and it just feels heavy and it feels dark and it feels unsatisfying, it's because your soul came here to do something different, to walk a different path. Your soul came here to go against the grain, to show people a different way to do things. And it's funny because I was thinking about it and I was like, it is a hard path to walk, to go against the grain and to just, be like, well, I don't know why, but I'm going to do it this way because that's what my intuition's telling me. And people are like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And you're like, I'm aware of that, but this is what I'm being told to do. So I'm going to do it this way. That can be difficult. But it's funny because looking back now, it's not anywhere as difficult as trying to fit myself in a system and in a box that I just don't fit in. And so that's the thing. If you are being called to this heart-led path, this soul-led path, this divinely led path, there's a sense of peace that you will not find on the logic-led path. And it's just, and it's way more, there's like back to the road analogy. You're gonna go off road at some point. It's gonna be bumpy as shit. You're gonna, you might flip the damn car. And then, the divine drops a new one down and it's like, oh, here you go. And then you're like, shit, I gotta put all my stuff in this new car. And it's one of those like, damn, that was rough. But it's worth it. That's what your soul came here to do, is to experience that path. And so I guess from my bias, I'm telling you, from my experience, to follow your heart, follow your soul, follow the guidance. It's worth it. It's it's unexpected turns and all of the things, but it's so worth it. And it pays off. It pays off big. So, anyways, that felt very intense. So, okay, is that the bridge to get there? Okay. Okay, we've got the wheel. This is it's the wheel of karma. And the message coming through is, in order for you to fully lock in this heart-led path, this soul-led path, it requires you to get off the wheel of karma. And with that, it requires you kind of stopping and saying, okay, no, I'm not going to do things this way anymore. I'm going to go within. I'm going to heal. I'm going to change certain things within myself and my life and so on and so forth to fully lock in to more of this, dharma path, so to speak, which is, good karma. Um, but instead of learning lessons constantly, it's having experiences. It's and we always have, learning lessons along the way, don't get me wrong, but it's not as much because you're changing what's within you that's attracting all of this karmic lesson energy. And so it requires you to get off the wheel of karma. And in order to do that, it's shadow work, it's trauma healing, it's transcending the ego and the inner critic and things like that. and it's totally doable. It's a different type of work that's required. And then we've got the Queen of Songs. And so this is talking about tapping into your heart, allowing your heart to lead the way, and trusting in your heart and in your intuition to lead you into the life of your dreams, and trusting that your higher self knows what you want and then some, and is willing and able to help you get there. Okay, I'm told to read that one. The Queen of Songs. Self mastery. Hey, there we go. Um, the Queen of Songs knows how to bear her heart as well as how to protect it. Her boundaries are very clear. She's deeply in touch with her own inner world and knows how to let emotions flow through her, how to let them motivate her, and how to create beauty from them. Are you able to remain open hearted while being firm with your boundaries? How do your emotions flow through you? Are you able to mindfully navigate them? How can you best express yourself in this moment? So yeah, this is emotional maturity. Which is a byproduct of going within and healing a lot of the stuff that is, was causing emotional immaturity. It just a lot of us weren't really taught how to be emotionally mature, um, or have secure attachment styles or things like that. It just is what it is. And it's not blaming anybody. It's just it is what it is. And so it's relearning some things. It's learning how to do that and how to show up in a different way and let your emotions flow in a healthy, productive way, and doing productive things with it and following your heart, um without getting in the way, if that makes sense. Like without stopping your progress by over analyzing it, by over intellectualizing it. So yeah, it's follow your heart. Follow your heart to get to the heart led path. Hey. So, all right, give me just a second. Okay, so I paused it for a minute. Another slight interruption. And then I was debating on closing it out here because it's already getting kind of long. Um, and then I felt that a little more wants to come out about it, and I'm definitely willing to do so because the thing is, if I would have had some guidance like this along my journey, it would have helped. So, and that's my ultimate goal is to help you on your journey. Make it a little less painful, a little quicker. And for me, it was just blindly following intuition for a while. There wasn't as much information on this kind of stuff when I was going through it. It was almost 10 years ago at this point when I first started my big awakening journey. I'd been being called to it for a long time, but I went through the massive awakening event I guess 8, 9 years ago at this point, something like that. Um and then it's been a huge process of healing all of this stuff and going through it and really anchoring in and picking the path and following the guidance. And I bounced back and forth a lot. And that's normal because you're going against societal programming and generational programming and so on and so forth. So it takes some time and some effort and some energy and some work to get to this point. But it gets easier the more you consciously choose to do it. And especially if you know more what's going on and the fact that you are being pulled into this other timeline or reality, however you want to view it, in the 5D different dimension, however you want to view it. It's shifting into this other way of living. Okay. What else wants to come out about that? Interesting. So that kind of did a flippy do. Oh, I've got it in reverse. Okay. That explains a lot. I was like, how does that? Okay, so this is in reverse. So hold on. I had to flip these cards around because the deck was upside down. Is that in reverse? I don't know. I don't know. I think that one was upright. Okay. Hmm. So I started coughing. That could be confirmation. Maybe sometimes that happens like if you're coughing while I'm doing the reading and I'm picking up on the energy. It can also be throat chakra energy moving. Um, so there could be a need to communicate, which has come out in quite a few readings. So take that as extra confirmation. Was that in reverse? That one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, we got divine counterpart out here. Okay. Oh, that's a lot. Yeah, that makes sense. So, in order to get to the heart led path, it requires a leap of faith. And it requires acknowledging that what you were putting a lot of energy and effort into isn't what you're going to continue to put effort and energy into growing. So, I'm picking up like a career change, something like that. This could be a relationship. Take it as it resonates, but it's something that you were kind of locked in on that you're being required to let go of. And this could be limiting beliefs, programming, all sorts of things. And it's going to require taking a leap of faith, like a complete leap of faith. Um, that was in reverse though. Okay. What is on the heart led path for you? We've got the Three of Dreams. Now this is heartbreak, and what I'm picking up is that part of what is kind of in the midst of you locking into this heart-led path or the soul-led path is healing your heart. Healing your heart space, healing those wounds that have been stopping you from listening to your heart and allowing your heart to guide the way. It's also releasing the mental burdens that you've been putting on yourself or that you've, been like that society has put there, or, this is like subconscious programming, things like that. And so it's releasing these burdens completely and surrendering it to the divine. And that will help you to lock in to this heart-led path. And then over here, we've got the Nine of Dreams in reverse. This is anxiety. This is mental anxiety, mental anguish. Yeah. And so this is saying that on this path, it's not, you're not going to experience as much anxiety in that being stuck in that space anymore. You're going to be able to transcend being stuck in your head. Okay, we've got the Six of Songs, and it's kind of in the bridging section. So for some of you, this is going to be revisiting something from your past or somebody from your past, is what I just heard. So for some of you, this is going to be reconnecting with somebody in some way. This could also be um tapping back into childhood dreams, that childlike energy, not childish, not immature. It's allowing your inner child to come out and play and to have fun and enjoy life. Um, and then it's also revisiting something from your past. And so this can be revisiting childhood wounds and things like that. And this can also be revisiting some of those times when you felt free and careless and tapping into that energy and bringing it with you into this heart-led path and enjoying that energy more than what you're able to on the more logic path, because it's so like it's locked in. You have to do this, you have to do, this adulting stuff and blah blah blah. And there's this whole thing of like being an adult sucks and da 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 da. Um, it's releasing all of that and allowing yourself to be like, no, life is fun. Life is fun when you're living in alignment. It's fun, it's joyful, it's miraculous. And you experience more and more of that the more you walk into this soul-led path. Did I acknowledge? Oh yeah, and then we've got a divine counterpart over here. And the counterpart energy, where the hell did it go? Hold on. I know it came out because we talked about it. Oh, there it is. We've got the King and Queen of Honey. So this is a divine counterpart energy, high level soulmate energy, very, very compatible, but also very abundant and wealthy. That's straight up. This is very much two people coming together and handling business. And I'm also seeing like an empire of some sort. So maybe you're one of the ones that's being called to build a new earth empire. Um, which, hey, hey. Um, this is that energy of coming together with somebody in a romantic sense and really being able to just power couple get some shit done, but in a very heart aligned way. This is creating businesses that are heart centered versus profit driven. Yeah, different things that actually help people instead of just look at the bottom line. Um, so yeah, this is very much secure, stable, solid, grounded. Um, work really well together in the physical realm. There's also a huge emotional compatibility as well. And if it's counterpart energy, it's going to be compatible in all the areas. Just that's the nature of those connections. Okay. What else do we want to do? More of those? Okay. I want to do more of these. And then I'm going to close it. Or I'm on here for 3 hours. Because that's what happened. Ah. Okay. So we've got the action card. And it landed out on the Knight of Songs. And so this can be really tapping into your heart space, what your heart is desiring, and following that with action. And that's just going to vary for each of you. So just listen to the guidance, follow your intuition, and follow where your heart's leading you. And allow yourself to know that whatever it is that you're desiring, you are capable of acquiring. Bars right there. Okay. Healer of the Ages. This is talking about tapping into your healing abilities. Um, all humans have healing abilities. It's just it's different in different people and different experiences and whatever, but we all have healing abilities. And so this is really about tapping into your own healing abilities and finding your own gifts and really working with those gifts and abilities, healing yourself. And then that way you can come out and you can help other people heal. Even if you're not actively doing that, by you healing yourself, you energetically shift in the quantum realm. And then those codes go out into the quantum realm. And then people who are ready to heal will access those codes and be able to do it even faster. So, yeah. It's like before we go on a quantum physics tangent. Right, what else? Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I'm seeing we've got deceit and patience. And what I'm picking up from this one is it's releasing the illusion that time is running out, that you're too late to the party, that you're too old for this or missed your opportunity for that. Too much time has passed. It's that kind of an energy that you're being called to release so that you can lock in this timeline, this heart-led timeline, because time is an illusion. It's a concept that we experience in the 3D because we are experiencing it linear. When you transcend the 3D, time is it's non-existent. It's really hard for the human mind to comprehend it, but everything is happening simultaneously, and the only moment that really matters is now. And then we just are experiencing different now moments, in different realities. Yeah, it's really it's fun to sit there and ponder, but it's really difficult for the human mind to grasp. But you're just being asked to really release the time pressure that you are feeling right now. This could be like you're being called to start over in career and you're like, dude, I'm in my 40s. Like, you really want me to start from scratch? Something like that. It could be, and we've got family out here, so this even could be like a long-term relationship that you're being asked to walk away from. And you've got that time pressure thing. And, well, if I walk away from this, I might be, you know, single forever or what have you. Just those kind of limiting beliefs that are coming up around time right now. You're being asked to release that because you're shifting into an experience where we're breaking some of those programs around time, and you have to do certain things by a certain age and so on and so forth. There's people having children in their late 40s and early 50s now. And so I mean we're starting businesses in their 60s, switching careers in their 60s, 50s, 40s, whatever. Um, it's happening a lot more now. And you're on the leading edge of that. And then we've got happy family, and it came out kind of in the middle. And so what I'm picking up for this is to allow yourself to not only desire, but know that it is available for you. I feel like I'm picking up on a collective who hasn't had the I just heard best luck in relationships. Um, yeah, I'm picking up on just, a challenging romantic past, more or less. And with that, there's a sense of being jaded around it. Kind of that limiting belief of, well, it's just not for me. I just heard I'm not good in relationships. That's just not my thing. But it's coming out here. You've got divine counterpart and harmonious union over here, so it is something you desire. It's something that your soul wants you to experience, but your mind is telling you some sort of limiting belief on why it's not possible for you. So you're being asked to release the deceit around that too, and know that you do have this available to you. It is possible for you. It is in your energy. It is something that you are manifesting, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. So now it's just about allowing yourself to have the things that you do desire. Which can be scary in and of itself because you're putting yourself in a vulnerable space by hoping that you can have this thing that maybe you previously told yourself you couldn't. And so you're really being asked to release the limiting beliefs around these things that you desire to have in your life because it is available for you when you lock into this heart led timeline. Is it as available on this logic timeline? Maybe not, but it is available to you when you choose to follow your heart and your divine guidance. So it's understanding that you do have it available to you. It's just requiring you to operate from a different place, like from a different level of consciousness. And when you choose to commit to that and choose to do what's coming up for you that you're being asked to release and heal and process and integrate and all of those things, that's when you really tap into alignment and align with these things that are available to you, which is, some good stuff. It's releasing the anxiety, balance, growth, lots of growth. And that's the other thing too, it's soul growth over here. Um, it's stability, security, um, you know, finances, like financial stability, and I'm picking up a financially free type of energy over here. This is still, again, it's not bad. It's just it's more locked in, it's more limited. This is more limitless. This is more limited. So, yeah, this is more of the expansive path. This is more of the limited path. Okay. Mm, all right. Do a couple more. Hmm. Give me just a second. Okay, so we've got, yep, okay, that makes sense. Nope. All right, so we've got the temple path in the fourth chakra, which is the heart chakra. The color's green. The chakra sits in the middle of the chest. Um, yeah, it governs love. It governs a lot, but this is really talking about balancing the heart, healing the heart space, and then following that guidance. And part of that is this temple path card. This is, the soul led path. So this is aligning with your heart space and aligning with, your higher self and allowing yourself to walk this path fully and entirely and following your heart. Okay. We've got adjacent possibilities. And what I feel like that is telling you is there are many ways that you can align with this other pathway. And so continue to ask and allow for the guidance to come through to anchor in this heart led path. Again, it's this kind of you can bounce back and forth, but when you consciously make the choice to align with this path and do what's necessary to align with you'll be given doors and windows of opportunity all the time to get you into this um energy to align you with this path. And then okay, we've got interesting. So is that saying that's how is that virgin? Okay, we've got envy, woman holding a coin, and broken heart. And this is kind of in the bridging area. So I feel like this is talking about is again, it's really heart healing. It's really going within and healing those heart wounds that are stopping you from fully following your heart. Whatever is blocking you from trusting in your heart, that's what you're being asked to look at right now and to heal. Reverse engineer it, see where it came from. Was it a situation that you experienced? Was it a program that you picked up from society, from a caregiver, from a friend, what have you. And it's really about healing that, integrating that so that you can listen to what your heart is actually guiding you to do. MV. What's going on with the MV card? Okay. Okay, I got the message. I was like, I don't know what this is. Okay, so what you are being asked to do is to release the envy that you have around people who you are viewing are further along the path that you are trying to align with. And and again, I'm picking up that like time urgency that, oh man, I wish I would have done this years ago. I wish I would have started on this path when that person did, or I wish I would have listened to the signs when I was getting them before I, started listening, and all of that. And it's one of those, it's perfect. The timing is perfect. You're on point. It's okay. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter what you chose to do beforehand. What matters is you have this opportunity to align with a more heart-centered experience, heart-centered reality. And your timing is perfect. It's right on point. If you would have done this and that and the other 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, things would be different, sure, but you wouldn't be in the same energy you're in now with the experience that you have now. And, ultimately, you were guided and you woke up and are listening at the right time. So just know that. Again, we're breaking the programming around time. And, you have to have it all figured out by your 20s and then have this by your 30s, now this by your 40s. We're breaking a lot of that now. There's people starting businesses in their 60s and 70s, and they're happy as can be about it. Um, so it's really about releasing that low key envy, or that, and I don't feel like it's really you're envious of other people, and maybe so, maybe there is a little bit of that going on. Maybe you're seeing people that have, more financial stability or something, and there's that envy. But just know, you've got your bags over here. When you align with this path, it's going to be worth it. This is quantum jumping stuff. This is big, big moving energy. Like, this is leveling up 15 levels at once. So just know that. And yeah, really release that energy of, I wish I would have done this sooner. I wish I could go back and do this different. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. Do your best to pull out of that energy and go, okay, what can I do about it now? Is there something I can do about it now? Can I reconcile with somebody now, and then I'll feel better? Can I release that and what happened, and take everything as the learning lessons that they were? And have I actually learned my lesson? And am I ready to get off this wheel of karma and shift fully into this heart aligned path? That's all it takes. And again, it's following the guidance when it comes in. So yeah, there's some work to do. But the thing is it's not like you have to do all of this before you can lock into here. So that's something else. It's very fluid. So by you consciously picking the path and saying, okay, I want to do this path. I want to listen to my soul. I want to listen to my heart. I'm listening to the divine guidance. I'm choosing this. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 5 years. I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know who I'm going to be with. But I know it's going to be fulfilling at a soul level. And so I'm game. I'm game for whatever that looks like. And then truly mean it. And when it comes up to heal this thing, to look at this trigger, to take this leap, to follow this opportunity, follow that guidance. And you'll bounce in, and then something will happen, you'll shift into the 3D, and then something will happen and you'll shift back into the 5D, and that's just how this works. It's this process of shifting. It's not something that just happens and then you're over here 100% of the time. It's two consciousness energies that are intertwined with each other, that are existing simultaneously, and then you bounce in and out of it. And then you learn, like, oh, okay, if I do things this way, then I walk into the 5D a little more. I get the guidance a little bit better if I do this, if I follow this guidance, if I listen to that, if I heal this wound. And then you can shift more into the 5D, but you're still in the 3D too. So it's complex, but it's worth it. It's worth it. That's all I'll say. Okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. This was a very long one. I hope this helps give some clarity and insight on the pathways you have available to you. Um, I'm wishing you all the best on this journey. I know it's not easy, but you got this. You got this. And you're being pulled in a different direction right now for a reason. So trust that. Trust that the timing is perfect. Trust that your higher self woke you up when your higher self woke you up for a reason. If it was meant to be earlier, it would have been earlier. If you were meant to do this and that and the other, you would have been really pushed into that. And even if you've been ignoring the guidance for a while, and then now you're like, oh shit, and you just had a realization of something from 10 years ago, you had that realization now, and you can do something about it now. So just know that it's not doom and gloom. You got this. It's all worth it. It's like it's only up from here. Um, in a good way, not in an uphill battle way. Okay. With that, I'm gonna leave this here. I hope this helps. If so, you can let me know in the comments below. I would love to talk to you about it. Again, sending you all the best love, compassion. You got this. All right. If you like this message, feel free to hit that like button. It does help out the channel, so thank you. And if you would like to see more from me, you can hit subscribe. It is free, and I will see you on the next message. Bye.